What's good, family? Welcome to another episode of An Honest Conversation about Hip Hop. I am D. Moraney, a.k.a. Hip Hop Old Head, a.k.a. Hip Hop's Uncle Phil, and as always with me tonight I have the one and only.
It's your boy, Sean Capone, the greatest rapper never known, a.k.a. the Whitney Houston fan over here, baby.
Yeah, you just hit us with like the whole first verse of Saving All My Love for You.
Hey, that's a classic,
It
man.
is definitely classic, but I did not think you were going to know it bar for bar like
Bar
that.
for bar, baby.
And speaking of setting the bar, it's the one and only
Big Pooh, a.k.a. Bang Bang Niner Gang.
Bang Bang Niner Gang. So for those of you who follow the show, a couple of episodes back, Sime and Pooh got into a heated debate about what was going to happen the rest of the season when it comes to the Niners and the Raiders. And so just to do a quick update, last week, if I'm not mistaken, the Raiders were victorious.
Of course.
Okay, and as most of us witnessed, I would say a Monday night classic, the Bang Bang Niner Gang fell short against the Seattle Seahawks. So
2-0, baby, 2-0.
So Dan is up 2-0 right now. Simon is up. Pooh, who do your Niners play this weekend?
Oh, we running it back
Cardinals.
against Arizona.
Arizona. Okay, so that should be a victory for.
We gave him that.
Yeah, you gave him that one. Okay,
Yeah.
and then Simon, who do your Raiders play this weekend?
Even easier
We
to
got Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. So that should
with
be
the rookie.
yeah. So that should be a win.
Oh yeah, of course.
They don't even have a win on the season.
Oh, so Natty's still huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you seen the end of the Raiders schedule,
Yeah.
it's easier than the beginning of the Niners schedule.
So can the Raiders realistically make a run into the playoffs, Pooh, based off what you've seen?
The way that like the Steelers lost and they're keeping all this shit tight, yeah, the Raiders could. I think they could.
Simon, you believe that
They
your
snuck
boys sneak
in. I mean, we in wild card position as it is right
Yeah,
now.
the coach lost. You know what I mean? That
That's
type of
crazy.
shit.
That's crazy. The Raiders. Maybe this is that run. Maybe make that run before they hit Vegas and they give the Oakland fans one last.
The
good
AFC
season.
is like beyond garbage this year. I don't even think the Patriots is good in my opinion.
Right, but so Kansas City Patriots just naming teams.
The Ravens, the Texans. It was Pittsburgh and Indy.
Okay.
But they both took some L's, and then Buffalo was right there with them too, and they took an L.
Damn, Buffalo.
Yeah, so Buffalo started real hot. They didn't play
Buffalo's
nobody.
only got 3 losses.
Yeah, some shit like that. They started out like 5-0 or some crazy number.
But you said it's Josh Allen. We were talking about that earlier. And who else is over there?
They got the youngster Singletary, the running back. They got Frank Gore, doing his
yeah.
They,
So they got
they
that-
run the ball and
yeah.
play defense.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't really have any. Who their wide receivers over there?
Shit.
They
They
had-
don't even know who they're.
They had Woods, right? But they got rid of him.
Shit.
Yeah, Woods is in LA. They
You
got
said Andre Reed.
it's these fuck, what is his name?
Foster, what's it, Foster, or what the fuck is it?
From Alabama, huh?
Yeah.
Robert Foster. or something.
Robert Foster.
And they got the receiver, his brother played for the Vikings. And one went to go to USC. Zay Jones.
So let me ask you this: in the NFL, 6 teams get in, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the 2 teams with buys would be the 8-1 Patriots, the 7-2 Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Houston would host the Oakland Raiders, and KC would head to Buffalo, and that's how that would shake out. So if the Raiders continue to win out, they are in control of their playoff future, which is crazy. None of us thought that was possible. So it's just either you said the AFC is super trash, or maybe Chucky was able to pull something together and make it happen.
Let me tell you a stat, not Raider related, but that I wasn't aware of. Did you know that the Houston Texans, since what's name's been there, what the fuck is his name again?
Deshaun Watson.
Are notoriously a slow starting team. This year they didn't start slow, and throughout his career he's never lost a game in November.
That's crazy.
Because they always come back at the end and squeeze in.
Yeah.
So if they keep that going, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
they're
gonna
6-3 right now. So
Yeah.
they might be able to make some moves. So we look at the NFC real quick. 2 bye teams right now would be the Niners 8-1, Green Bay 8-2. Seattle would host the Dallas Cowboys at 5-4.
That would be interesting.
And Minnesota would head to New Orleans at 7-2.
Those are some tough games.
Yeah, those are some very tough games. So that's how that plays out. So it'll be interesting, man. Simon Capone, you have, if the Raiders make it, I know you're gonna nut on yourself. You're gonna be so happy. And shit, that would really, it'd be crazy if the Raiders make it and Chicago doesn't.
Yeah, that's right.
And
That's what we want, because we want that fucking pick.
And they already beat them head up. Yeah, the Khalil Mack game, they beat them.
Oh, that's right, they did beat him.
Yeah.
Thank you, Khalil Mack. We got Josh Jacobs.
That's crazy. So they're gonna get probably a top 15 pick.
Easy.
The Raiders, right?
The way it's looking.
And they have a first rounder from this year, or no?
We have this year and this upcoming year.
So they got the next.
Josh Jacobs was our pick from them last year.
And then you have their first rounder this year.
This year, yeah.
Damn, that's dope.
So we still, we playing.
Yeah.
We playing with house money right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see how that play out. So shit, this is an honest conversation about hip hop. We usually talk about hip hop, but we talk about a whole bunch of shit. If you've never listened to the show before, you know where to find us. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on our Libsyn page and anywhere else that folks listen to podcasts. You can also find us on Instagram, and you can find us on Facebook. Honest conversation about hip hop. I guess we'll just go backwards today with it, since we're talking about the NFL. Tomorrow morning, Colin Kaepernick gets to hold his public workout. They're gonna do it in that little field that's right next to.
It's not even in the dome.
It's not in the dome. So have you seen the videos when Quavo and them cats
Fucking got
is out
Popeye's
there?
chicken and shit.
Yeah.
You know how Quavo got his annual Quavo and Kids, whatever he does.
Yeah, a little football
So
thing.
he's gonna be outside there, running his workout. The workout is gonna be run by. What's my man? The former
Jackson.
Hugh Jackson is going to run the workout, and some of the teams that were listed were what the Cowboys were going to be there.
They backed out.
Oh, they backed out.
They backed out.
Okay, so Atlanta Falcons. I think
Even the Niners are going to be there.
Niners are going to be there. Are your Raiders there, Sam Capone?
I seen the 11 teams, so they weren't included in that 11. But then I seen like 20-something teams.
It's up to 24
Jump
now.
ship, yeah. So I mean, they might be.
So yeah, right now per ESPN, we'll give them props. 24 teams are set to attend. And see if they got the list. So here are the teams that we have now. We have the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Browns, the Broncos, the Lions, Miami, New England, New York Giants, the Jets, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Washington Redskins. ESPN, the Seahawks, as well as the Niners are going to be there. And I guess Dallas Cowboys will go, according to this article here. So
I'm going now.
Yeah, so this was just updated a few hours back. So first off, I'll start with you, Sam. Just your thoughts on Cap finally getting his opportunity to audition for an NFL job. What are your thoughts, man?
I think it's terrible because we're in week fucking 11. You know what I mean? And teams, like, to be honest with you, for Cap to have any kind of winning situation or come in and carry a team to succeed, it's gonna have to be a team that just had a recent injury, that's on the cusp of going to the playoffs. And a lot of the teams that are going they're teams that have no shot in hell. So, if they pick him up, it's going to be a fell in, 5 or 6 games that's remaining. Mm-hmm. So, I think it's terrible. I don't know where the fuck the NFL, maybe they're trying to get motherfuckers warm and fuzzy for the holidays or some shit like that, push for the fourth quarter. Mm-hmm. But this coming out of nowhere is crazy. And then the way that they're doing it on Saturdays, nobody ever works out on Saturdays. All the GMs and coaches, and scouts are going to be in the field. Mm-hmm. So, who the fuck is going to show up for these workouts? The janitor?
Pooh, what you think about this, man?
At first, when I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit, he got a workout." But then, as the days went by and I got more information, I was like, "It sounded like some bullshit." I don't know where I heard this at, but I heard that this audition, quote unquote, is actually for 2020. so it doesn't even the job won't even be really for this season, from what I heard. But I'm gonna tell you, with the success of Lamar Jackson, I could see a team like the Patriots pulling the trigger, having him on the bench so they can get that look in case they got to face the Ravens again. Because no, you can't emulate Lamar Jackson on your scout team.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somebody like Belichick could do that to add a wrinkle.
So he would just basically sign up to be a practice player.
He could be a practice player or
and
like
a gadget guy.
A gadget guy, because if you know, they don't have explosion on that team.
Yeah.
They don't have a deep threat. Tom Brady. I know I'm getting off subject.
No. This is good because I have a follow-up question to this. But go ahead.
Tom Brady they're a methodical team now. Everything he throws, everything 5 yards, and they try to slowly creep their way down the field. And if they don't go on sustained drives, they don't score. So if they play a team like the Ravens, where Lamar Jackson can explode and score, New England can't keep up because they have to earn their touchdown. There's no 70 yarders, no 60.
Yeah, there's no freebies.
Exactly. You know what I mean? That's in going back to our game with the Niners and the Seahawks. The Seahawks have no explosion. So if we didn't turn the ball over, we beat them because Russell Wilson had to do his magic to methodically get down the field. And if you notice, other than we would have got them. They got it. They earned it. I'm not gonna hate on it, but you understand what I'm saying. They had to earn this point. There was no big plays.
There was no big plays. So let's say Belichick makes that call and says, "Look, we want to sign you. You know that you're only going to be a gadget player for as long as Tom Brady's going to be there, and we assume Tom Brady will be there for another year or two. And I know there's rumblings at San Diego and all this kind of BS or whatnot, but are you going to sign that contract to get back into the league to be the gadget quarterback in New England and possibly end your career that way? I'm going to start with you, Mr. 2-0. What you think, Sam Capone? You think Kaep comes back that way?
I don't think he does. I mean, for what? You know, I mean, he's looking for a real opportunity. You know what I mean? And playing backup, you know, for Brady. I mean, if he was younger, you know, 26, 27 or whatever, and he can hold out for the next 2 or 3 years, then cool. But understand, the NFL drowned this motherfucker out of football for the last 3 years, and then if he's sitting 2 more years, that's a whole 5 years of, you know what I mean, not getting no in-game experience. So
yeah.
And how much is that going to fucking polish, you know, or sharpen his sword? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what about you, Pooh? I mean,
I say
you think he takes a gadget look?
I don't know if he takes it, but in my opinion, just my own personal, he better take that shit. Or for me, it's hashtag fuck Colin Kaepernick.
Really?
For the rest of the days, because all of this bullshit, and then you don't even want a job, nigga. Like, you better take the fucking job and do it the hard way, because there's niggas out here who shed, you know, blood, sweat, and tears just to get an opportunity, and you too picky after putting everybody through all this bullshit. Like, take the job. If you don't, you know, use that opportunity since your foot is back in the door, it doesn't work there, maybe you show enough to where another team picks you up and let you, like,
trades for you or whatnot, because it's not like Cap's coming back to a fat contract, right?
Look at Teddy Bridgewater. Look at the way he did it. Yeah. You know, he had opportunity to go elsewhere, but he chose the right situation, and now look, his stock has risen again.
He's gonna get paid.
Another thing, Kaepernick was trash on his way out the door. I'm a Niner fan. Yeah. I can speak to this shit. He was trash. We fell all the way the fuck off, and he wasn't a starter when he fucking got booted from the league, so to speak. So how can you act like you want a starting gig, nigga, when you wasn't a starter 3 fucking years ago? Look,
but he was having one of the better years of his career, and the only reason that he lost his spot was he had the bad game. It was just one bad game.
But look, that was that season. The prior season, he was trash. Once they figured out how to stop him, where he basically only throws the ball to his right, he became like a point guard that can only go to his right.
Damn,
you know, when he only play one side of the field, NFL, they're gonna fucking scheme and slow your shit down. Yeah. Like, for instance, Baker Mayfield was a superstar last year. They got tape on the nigga now. How is Cleveland? I mean, they win a game every 3 or 4 games, but they didn't.
NFL,
it's been caught up with his ass already.
He shaved his mustache off, so he didn't deserve it. That's how trash he had been. Yeah.
I just feel like you're lucky to have another opportunity. And I know that sounds whack because it shouldn't be that way, but I think you need to earn that shit back.
Yeah.
Nothing's given to you out here. Even if this didn't happen to him, you still need to earn a spot. Yeah. You can't be that arrogant. If he does that, fuck Kaepernick.
Even if he chose to retire, he would still have to come back and and let's say there wasn't the whole kneeling situation. Let's just say he, went to retire for whatever reason to get education or pursue some other shit, realize I want to come back to the game, he would still have to earn that.
It.
No one's just gonna go
no
ahead
fucking
and,
handouts.
He not the pedigree going out where like a Favre or somebody that could do that and then come back and say, oh, you've been gone a while here, we still believe in you because of your pedigree.
How did Vic come back?
Barely.
No, he barely came back, but how did he come back?
I mean, he was a backup of a backup.
And then earned his way back.
Same
shit.
I mean? Yeah. So I feel like he should hold out. I understand where you're coming from as far as, but I think for the cause, you know what I mean? He just can't. He should be given the opportunity to compete for a starting job.
Well, maybe New England was the wrong.
Yeah,
but I use that as
right. But that's also a possibility.
Yeah,
maybe he is going to get a position or an offer where he's not going to play. Maybe he might be the second string quarterback for some chump change. And then so the question is, does he take that job just to get back in? You know what I mean? But let's I know y'all hate when I menu list, but I'm gonna menu list some names of some teams here. And let's just do the hypotheticals.
Let's go.
The Redskins.
They need all the help.
They can.
They need Kaepernick, Theismann, fucking whoever. Shit.
They just named the rookie the starter for the rest of the year. Yeah.
So I don't see them doing that, and now that they're going to give him the keys and they're going to see him test drive, but maybe that's a destination. If you're saying the 2020 stuff is true, so maybe if he looks good enough, maybe as soon as the season's over, they bring in Kaepernick saying, "Hey Haskins, you still need a year or two of seasoning before
it's not a bad spot."
And it's not a bad spot. Opportunity for him to do something. He's in DC where he'll be able to be amongst the political folks if that's what he wants to do. Tampa Bay.
Jameis is playing for his life.
Is this his last season?
What's his contract year?
I think he's
his
done.
contract year.
Yeah,
so you don't think they re-up him?
They're not re-upping shit. Jameis is a 1 touchdown, 4 interception throwing quarterback. He'll put up 300 yards, but there's gonna be fucking 3 to 4 turnovers. Period.
So you think it's scenery, or you think it's just his skill?
Nah, it's his skill.
Yeah.
He fucking with Arians, and Arians is a fucking guru when it comes to offensive. Fucking.
They brought Arians to fucking save Jameis basically.
And ain't working.
I was hearing that Jameis may be brought back, but like on a 1-year deal type shit. Like he's not going to get that re-up.
Yeah. They'll extend him a year just to see how it works out. So okay, if they do that, I don't see them bringing in Kaepernick because they don't. They were going to probably have to give Jameis a nice little signing bonus. It would make no sense to bring in Cap and have 2 quarterbacks, and if you do cut Jameis, you're basically stuck with a signing.
Can I say one thing before you go on?
Yeah, definitely.
The one thing that hurts Cap is he better get a team now because all the teams that's not going to be able to climb up in the draft to get a quarterback are going to be in the Cam sweepstakes at the end of the year. So we don't know where he's going to land yet.
That is true. So that's a big footnote. So this is if Cam stays type of shit.
Cam is going.
The Jets, I don't see that happening. The Giants, I don't see that happening. The Pats, gadget shit, definitely. Miami, I think is a destination.
Yeah, well, they got Fitzpatrick, and then they got who was it, Rosen?
He
got
not only, but they want to change that culture. If I'm the owners, right now the attitude is people want to be traded because they feel like they're being controlled and mocked. The guys that spoke out against Jay, then they had Jay-Z playing at the next practice or whatever. The whole entire practice they were playing his music or whatever to piss off the players or whatnot. So I think Miami needs to change that culture by bringing in Cap. That says we're trying to change it. Not saying that they'll do that based off football moves, but that might be a PR move to go ahead and do.
Miami, as we sit, they have Burrow or Tua guaranteed. Yeah. So I think they get one of them. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, but they have one of them. But are they going to start them right off the gate?
See, what's his name is so young. I don't know if they give up on him so already. Rosen. He was the first rounder last year.
But is he playing though?
They just have a terrible team.
Yeah, because right now you said Fitzpatrick
got the job.
So yeah,
there's really nothing down there.
Yeah, if Rosen can't beat out Fitz, and I'm sorry, I don't think Rosen's that guy going forward. But it makes sense.
I don't mean as a starter.
They still gave him a second or third rounder for him. So you can't give up on the motherfucker.
They paying their first round money.
So then, if you're Miami, do you draft Tua or do you draft the kid from LSU? If you gave up a second round pick, or do you try to fill holes, or do you trade down?
You got to get a quarterback. You can't do shit without a quarterback.
They have a luxury right now because they pulled the Raiders and they traded their top players and I think they got 3 first-round picks.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Okay,
they
I
sent
didn't know that.
Minka Fitzpatrick to Pittsburgh.
For
He
a first rounder.
got 5 fucking picks since he's been there already.
Yeah,
so that was, and then they sent their best O lineman to protect fucking Deshaun Watson.
And they got a first rounder for him. You're right. Okay, so they don't make those moves. The Lions, unless Stafford's back's really fucked up, I don't see that happening. Maybe they would sign him now for a little run.
Like I said, I can't confirm that, but I did hear it.
Yeah. The Broncos would make sense to me.
Yeah.
They wanted him in the fucking beginning.
I don't know why the fuck they didn't do that shit over the debauchery and everything.
Because Elway is an NFL guy, and the NFL didn't want Cap in the league. So now that maybe
take that L,
maybe now that here's the green light, he's able to get picked up. Maybe
they offered him a deal, he turned it down.
They said that he didn't get his girlfriend. I'm sorry, not him because he doesn't speak. But his woman said no one offered
didn't
any.
happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. You know, Cleveland Browns, don't see that happening.
Nah.
Atlanta Falcons, I definitely don't see that happening. We owe Matt Ryan too much money. And the Cardinals, I don't see that happening either. Seattle Seahawks, no. Niners.
They brought him. They tried to bring him in for a workout, and he turned the shit down or some shit a few years back.
Okay, the Niners, I don't think so.
PR wise, that would be terrible.
Yeah, that'd be terrible. And then the Cowboys, I don't. Could you imagine? The majority of the Cowboys fans would throw themselves out a window if Kaepernick.
Just the good old boys.
What's that shit from Blazing Saddles? The sheriff is a darn. And even though I know you got fucking good old Dak over there wearing
Dakota.
fucking Stone.
Is
that what it is? Dakota?
Yeah.
So exactly. That nigga's wearing Stone Cold Steve Austin hats and shit. So we good, man.
He's a breed. His daddy looked like Dan Starr, and mom passed away recently.
Rest in peace to his moms, man. Dan Starr, wow.
It's crazy because I was a Dak fan in college, my nigga. And
I remember I used to fear playing him when he was at Mississippi State.
yeah,
He
they was
so
number
big.
one year.
Yeah, he's so big it would run through you and still throw a pass.
Yeah.
He got to league, he looked a lot smaller. It was crazy.
Why do Zeke look so fucking terrible? Don't he look slow? He was a breakaway nigga in college.
The league is fast, man. And so when you got those guys who are kind of fast, but then you got those guys who are real 4 guys. Because what's Zeke? Probably a 4.6, 4.5.
He ran like a 4.41 at the combine.
No way.
Yes.
Could it be that he got bigger?
He looks bigger than college.
Yeah.
Because I seen him break like 80 on Alabama. Straight up. You know what I mean? Niggas don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. He just looks slower this year.
Yeah, maybe he bulked up.
When you spent fucking preseason and shit in the fucking in Cancun.
Oh,
eating
that
enchiladas and shit like that.
He did hold out.
Yeah, I think it's just like Gordon said, he's finally getting his leg. He'll never miss training camp again. Like the rust is still on him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
man, that shit is real, man. That shit happens. So we're discussing Cap, and we're not gonna let the elephant in the room not get addressed.
Oh yeah.
But
the camel in the room.
The camel in the room. So multiple people, sites and shit have reported that at first Jay had some sort of hand in this and made the arrangements. That's what the news that first came out. Then other reports came out that yes, confirming Jay had hands in this, but Jay only orchestrated this because he felt that his name was smeared and his reputation was harmed in the previous rollouts of the Kaepernick and the foundation where they get the money to the chick cutting the dreads, all this other fuck shit that Jay's let them use his name for. So I'm gonna start with you on this one, Pooh. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think this was the master plan with Jay, or are you believing the knee-jerk reaction, hey, we got to make something happen because I'm looking bad out here story?
I think it's either the Jay-Z shit, which I could see, but honestly, I kind of feel like, and I've heard someone else say this, and it just makes all the sense in the world. This sounds like part of that non-disclosure money they gave him. The reason why I say that is because he has no control over what's going on anything. And then if you look at it, they got Hugh Jackson who's jobless. Like they got a bunch of nobody's running the shit. Like it's just an NFL obligation. They just going through the motions. He don't know who the receivers is. He's Antonio Brown and other niggas are saying that they'll come fly in and help him. Like it just, and he can't reschedule. He doesn't know who's running it. It's like he's obligated to go. You know what I mean? Like you signed the deal, you got the money. Here's your shot. We agreed on it. Come do this shit so we can get this shit the fuck out of the way, and it's over with. It kind of feels like with all those teams going, it takes them off the hook of individually having to defend why they're not giving them a chance.
Right.
So since they got all these third tier scouts there, check us off the list. Like the Niners, the Niners can't fucking sign Kaep, so why are we there?
Right.
We're there so we
Why
can say
Atlanta there, right?
Because to say that we gave him a chance, now we can bury the Kaepernick shit forever.
Right, it's done. He's got his money. He had his opportunity.
Yeah.
He had his,
To me, it feels like that's what I'm saying with Jay-Z name attached to it. And I was on my son's page today, arguing. I probably got about 100 likes on there by now on somebody else's shit.
Dope.
Because niggas just suck off Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Like they just put a black face on some bullshit. That's what it feels like. And it kind of feels like with the NFL teams, it's like Colin Kaepernick's in the barrel right now, and everybody is like, no, let me reverse that. The NFL teams are in a barrel, and Colin Kaepernick, like they're all together. Like instead of having him do 32 fucking workouts, they're all together. We can knock out 22 at fucking once.
Yeah.
And we're done with his ass.
And we're done.
We're done. It took to me, it takes the NFL off the hook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So all the teams that didn't go there, they have to answer the questions of, why? The other ones, we looked at him, we didn't really like him. I made this analogy on Facebook. I told Sime here, if I hadn't had pussy in 4 years and the bitch told me you got to come fuck me Saturday and I didn't know it, I'm pretty sure my performance is gonna be whack.
Right, but he said Kaepernick or one of his representatives or his girlfriend, whoever speaks for him, said that he had been waiting for this opportunity for 3 years. He's been working out, so he's ready to go.
Look, true enough. I mean, working out by yourself is not the same as doing an NFL workout. You know what I'm saying? It's just different. Like he's working out with certain receivers. Those guys aren't even there. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. It just...
So do you think they're going to run a 40 and then you think he's going to have to do no, I'm being for real. Do you think he's going to be doing some combine shit out there, or do you think he's just going to throw, the zip 7 route and all that other wild shit?
He's going to have to do the whole workout as far as a quarterback. What I did hear on the positive is that one big executive NFL said before Kaepernick was injured, he was muscular. He was a strong, big guy. When he started to fall off, he got smaller, lost a lot of weight. He said he looks like big again. He looks like what he did before the injury. So I'm not just gonna knock the man, but it just seems a little faulty to me.
Yeah, we want the best for him in this situation.
Yeah.
But before I say anything, I'm gonna ask you, Simon, what are your thoughts about? I wanted to kind of stay away from the setup of what this appears to be, but you hit it right on the head, Pooh. So, I mean, what are your thoughts in regards to the situation he's in? Is this the Jay hookup, or is this the knee-jerk reaction to his name being tossed up in all this bullshit?
Yeah, I think it's it's crazy because Jay's just trying to protect his entity, and everybody's trying to protect their entities. Period.
Right.
Shit. It's not about the people or anything. It's never been deeper than that. So everybody's just trying to protect their entities and do what the politically correct thing is, or in their mind. You know what I mean? And just feed us this bullshit. Throw us a Popeye's chicken sandwich and fucking give Colin Kaepernick a workout. You know what I mean? And move the fuck on while Kanye is preaching on Sunday. You know what
I was about to say that. Yeah.
So no, all this shit is. The real ones see through it. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, it's just what it is, man. And unfortunately, what Kaepernick is going through, we kind of all go through it on a daily fucking basis. You know what I mean? We're just not part of, a $1 million contract and shit like that. We are motherfuckers that got to report to work every day. And unfortunately, unlike Kaepernick, we deal with at-will employment. So, motherfuckers get rid of you real quick. There ain't no workouts, ain't no coming back, no stories or whatever.
No coverage.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it's... Yeah, I guess with just us being older, we see it clearer. You know what I mean? The truth come to you as you get older. Right. You don't actually see it. It just, come and hit you in the face.
Let me ask you, do we have a right to be disappointed with Jay-Z?
Of course.
I mean,
he holds a social responsibility. He's he's almost a billionaire. You know what I mean? And it's, you got to take care of the fucking village. And when did he leave the fucking village? You know what I mean? Or when is it okay to abandon the village? For personal gain. It's
just that this whole situation with his name attached, it's been all bad. Mm-hmm. There's not been one positive.
He knew it was gonna blow up. You know what I mean? But that was the risk he took.
Do you really think that he was sitting thinking it was gonna there's going to be outrage at every single turn, and this wasn't going to be embraced like everything else they do, or is it just that niggas are so fed up with the NFL? I know we just spent 30 minutes talking about it, but you know, the masses, these woke folks, do you think that they're at a point where they're just so fed up with the NFL?
No.
Or is it just, again, the disappointment with Jay? How dare you do business with these folks?
No, I mean, Jay knew what the situation is. He knew he stepped in dog shit and smelt it the minute before he fucking, stepped on the field. So he knew what the fuck he was walking into, but the money overshadowed his vision. You know what I mean? So that was his priority one, is the capital gain. You know what I mean? Because there was no way. These guys are multi-billionaires, and they've got paper longer than Jay, and it's generational wealth that he's dealing with. So you got generational networking that there's no comparison. Jay's family, I mean, his fucking grandkids and shit like that probably will get that power in generations later, but
right, but he's at the front of the line, so
exactly.
to speak.
He's the fucking employee or he's the new employee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Pooh?
I kind of feel like I've always said, I feel like Jay's a capitalist. At the end of the day, when you're a capitalist, you really can't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
You just out for capital gain. Also, when it comes to these NFL owners, this is the only time where Jay-Z can step into a room where everybody in the room has more money than him.
Right. He's low man on the totem pole.
He's so used to stepping in the room where it's Jay-Z. Like, the urban community still treats Jay-Z like he's the man, because of, like, when you get online and argue with these motherfuckers, it's only because of where Jay-Z sits as far as finances. So
it's always a
like,
money.
You can break these niggas down like a fraction. That's why I fuck them up, just to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because niggas, they everybody judge everything based on what you have.
Yeah.
Where him stepping into the NFL and everybody's praising him and all this shit, I have more respect for LeBron and them for pushing for the collegiate athletes to get money for their likenesses and pushing that agenda. That, to me, that's way more powerful than what Jay-Z has done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but because Jay-Z
definitely
has the trophy wife and has deep pockets and she's rich and this and that, like, people look at that and it's we're so blinded by the bullshit. Like the fucking zombies outnumber the woke folks. So at the end of the day, the woke
zombie, the sheep, bro.
Yeah, it's like at the end of the day, he knows the woke motherfuckers, that shit ain't gonna fucking matter. Cause the youth, they're so fucking blinded and stupid. Yeah, I'm saying it. You millennial motherfuckers is so fucking stupid that as long as y'all don't turn on him, he's okay.
Yeah.
What us old arthritic niggas say?
Arthritic.
It don't fucking matter. You think he give a fuck about a nigga with a salami spot on the back of his head, nigga, and a receding hairline? He don't give a fuck about that. He older than a lot of us, and he got more hair than a lot of us.
Yeah,
Fuck that nigga. I'm hating that. Fuck that nigga.
He ain't. He said, "Fuck Jay-Z and his new dreads."
Yeah, fuck him.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, no, it's just disappointing in all reality, because it's like he continues to allow the NFL to put him in these situations that at the end make him look bad, and really,
it's an exploit of an exploit.
Right? He's exploiting us, they're exploiting him.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It wasn't supposed to go down like this, but unfortunately, it is, and that's just the
Jay-Z.
wildness.
You know what Jay-Z is? He is the Don King of this fucking generation. You know what I mean?
That's what he feel like, Don.
Yeah.
Or fucking
Don King,
Al
bro.
Sharpton. But I can say one thing. This doesn't involve Jay.
Fuck him. We on a good one.
Yeah. NFL, why the fuck would you do this now?
That's what I'm saying.
Colin Kaepernick is on the back burner. Nobody's talking about this shit. The NFL, the product is great right now. We've had great games on Thursdays and Monday nights. Everything is going good. Teams are vying for playoff spots, and then out of nowhere, y'all throw this Kaepernick bullshit in. It's bullshit to me now. In the middle of it, it just doesn't make any sense. It kind of seems like it's something that was obligated, and they have to honor it.
Right. I mean, like you said earlier, it was probably part of that deal and that agreement that we never heard of. We'll give you one more shot, one more tryout on our terms, on our times. You've already probably been paid whatever money he needed to be paid.
Yeah.
And then we'll make sure that we arrange some teams to come there. It'll be up to those teams whether or not you get a shot. And that'll be the one time you get, you get that look.
You know what's funny though? They use Jay-Z for blackface, and they use washed up ass Hugh Jackson for blackface for the shit. It's just a coincidence, ain't it?
Well, I think they want to make it aesthetically look like, hey, this is a win-win for Kaepernick. So if Kaepernick does go out there and look shaky, then it falls on his shoulders.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And no one's gonna scream. No one's gonna be screaming. Crying wolf for him because they're gonna be like, hey, he got a shot. There's already people that don't want him to get this shot. They feel like,
motherfuckers are mad. Like,
like how dare you? He sued the league and shit like that.
This motherfucker's about to play flag football on a Saturday.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I can play
the fucking towel boys watch him do it, and shit.
I can play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
I do believe there may be a few teams out there that are genuinely interested in him, but they don't want to be the first team to do it.
To make the jump.
So this right here makes it where they can actually do it and not be signaled out for doing it.
So do you think there's teams right now that are saying nothing? He goes, he works out, no one jumps on him, and then out the blue, whoever says, we reviewed the tape, you looked awesome, we want to bring you in for a second workout?
It could even be one of the teams that's there.
Yeah.
But what's that? Aesthetically,
yeah,
they don't want the ridicule being the first one to do it. It's just like when they integrated the NCAA.
Yeah,
like
nobody wanted Jackie Robinson.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When Lee Corso was the first coach in the South to have a black player, then Bear Bryant and the rest of them did it.
Mm-hmm. It took them a couple years.
You know what I mean? It took someone else to do it first.
Yeah.
It took for USC to come beat the shit out of Alabama, for Alabama to get black players.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? It kind of feels like that. Like somebody wants to do it, but they don't want to be the one to jump out there like, oh, we want him, and then the other 31 owners don't want him. You're gonna get fucking signaled out.
Right. And that's true too.
You gotta understand though, the NFL is a partnership, man, and you go against the partnership against the 31 other teams.
You're out of there.
They can fucking kick your ass out. They can Donald Sterling your ass.
Right.
These motherfuckers got power, but the other 31 motherfuckers have that's like a Super Voltron and shit right there.
Look, out of the 32 teams, there's 2 that run the shit. It's Jerry Jones and Robert Kraft. The rest of them fall in line under them 2.
Well,
of course,
because those are the 2 most profitable organizations, right, or the teams or whatnot.
And they on the other side of this shit. They're not the motherfuckers that was in support of this shit in the beginning.
So, end of the day, do you think Cap gets a job, or do you think this is just the big setup to say, hey, Negro, we gave you your opportunity and you didn't do it? You're not getting back in. Is this it? Is this, as you alluded to earlier, Pooh, is this the end game? Does this put it to bed now? Either Cap gets signed or he doesn't, and if he doesn't get signed, we never hear from him again.
Because of all the shit I talk, he better not get a job. No.
Cool. So that I'm right. He better not.
No, but you know what? The more that I talk about it and the opportunity that may be there, because right now the NFL is terrible as far as backup quarterbacks. Like you bringing niggas out of high school, coaching high school to come back and throw passes. And look, Kaepernick as fucking Mahomes backup, I think that works. You know what I mean?
You know what? I never thought about that.
You know what I mean? So, shit, I don't know. Something in my gut is saying, because all these teams jumped on at the end, there may be a chance. I'm kind of feeling like he might get a chance.
Okay. What about you, Simon?
I mean, you know me, I'm a fan of the underdog and making it out of crazy situations, but it's just too fishy, too last minute of a notice. I know teams are going fucking through it, but like I said, for him to get signed, it's gonna have to be a team on the cusp of winning something, and I just don't see any of these teams on the cusp of winning anything.
So name wasn't listed, but what about the Steelers? Rudolph is trash.
Man, them Roonies are racist as fuck. Man.
Are they though? They gave I mean, what's his name his job?
They said that's the top job in the NFL.
Yeah.
The Rooney Rule is named after them having the minority be hired. And shit.
Right. So they're not racist at all. I don't believe to that.
I don't think one of them all-American, quote unquote, white teams can do it. I really don't.
So you don't think Pittsburgh could bring him in?
No, Patriots.
Yeah, like those blue blood teams.
Yeah.
You need a team. You need a team like Jacksonville, Tampa, somewhere where forgive me, the southern part of this country, where the nobodies live, the people who don't fucking count.
Damn.
The inbreds.
Fuck.
The inbreds and the negras.
And the negras?
Yeah, them. It's a team like that. You know what? The Dolphins should do it. It's fucking garbage they are. They can get the publicity.
I think it's a good look for the Dolphins. I think Miami could very capitalize off that. I think it's a place where Kaepernick could do a lot of justice work because there's a lot of shit going down in Florida in general, especially in Miami. So I think it's something where it would be a good fit if he went there. Football wise, I think Pittsburgh would be a good fit. He might be able to make a little run.
I got one for y'all.
Where?
We didn't think this even came up. I think where he would be accepted just because of the climate.
Where?
He comes in and back up a nigga who's on his way out. Back up Phillip Rivers. I think LA accepts him.
Oh, of course.
Of course, I think they do accept him.
And the Chargers ain't got nobody coming to their games.
And that's true. I mean, yeah.
And they got to fill up that stadium next year.
Yeah.
It ain't no little fucking Home Depot.
That's why you pay you the big bucks, man. That's why you're the sports guru.
I'm getting slow bucks around this mother.
No bucks.
Hey, but we will offer you a workout all week, 17 and a half.
No, but that
Be there
Chargers,
in 30 minutes.
that
You don't know
Chargers
what
shit
you're gonna
sound pretty
talk
good,
about.
though, huh?
Yeah, no.
The Chargers
the Chargers sounds like really a match made in heaven. Now that you say that, not only is the community gonna accept him, there's a need if they're like reports are they're tired of Rivers and Rivers is out the door. There's a need for that, and it makes sense. You know what I mean? But here's a caveat to that. What's up with Anthony Lynn? He's supposedly out the door too, right? From what I'm hearing,
he's a great coach because they wasn't supposed to fall off like this.
Yeah. So I mean, do they sign Kaepernick and maybe that extends Lynn's ability, or because I think he does have another year or two on his contract or something to that effect. But supposedly
they went 12-4. So that should buy him at least 2 seasons,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Unless they went fucking 1-15, then he got to go.
because they were 12-4 not last year, but
Last year.
they were 12-4 last year. Yeah.
They the ones who beat Lamar in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. So I don't know why the reports are that they want him out, because that is crazy. Look
Niggas on short leashes around this bitch.
that's true, because Dan Quinn is still not even close to being fired. You know what I mean? He's good, man. Yeah, not at all. Shit. What about this real quick before we actually get into some music shit? Myles Garrett. What about this crazy shit? Him taking off. I haven't seen the video. You guys kind of schooled me to it earlier. But do you think he gets back, or do you think he's back in the league, or do you think that this is appropriate?
He's coming back. I mean, I'll put you like this: if Cleveland put that nigga on waivers right now, 31 teams are going to 30 because the Pittsburgh Steelers can't do it.
Right.
The rest of the league is going to try to get him.
Yeah.
Early in the year, he was leading the race for NFL Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah. He was balling.
He's a first round pick. He's 6'4", 270, runs a 4.5 40. You don't find them niggas everywhere.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And everybody wants a pass rusher.
Right.
You know what Atlanta could do with fucking Myles Garrett?
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? So
Ruin his career.
no, he gets a chance. They just got to make an example out of him because he's not a player who has been in any trouble. He got like a spotless character.
Right.
They say he's like an intellectual and all that. So it doesn't.
This was bad judgment on his
bad
part.
judgment. They said that he's like a intellectual that's not a tough guy. So on the field, he kind of goes overboard to show motherfuckers that he's tough. And I think he kind of he lost his cool. He blacked out. So I think he gets a chance. I think he sits this year. If Ron Artest can fucking come back, Myles Garrett can come back.
That's true. Same thought, Sam.
I mean, pretty much. It's fucked up because Mason? What the fuck? Rudolph or
Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. He provoked the shit, man, and he, I was telling Pooh, he provoked it like a broad. Hit me, motherfucker! Hit me! Crack! You hit me!
How dare you?
But
not that we condone violence, but I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about.
I got a segue like a motherfucker for that one.
Let's go. Roll with the segue.
Roll with
it. That's like Chris Brown hitting Rihanna after she hit him in the car. Cue the M.
Yeah, so earlier this week there was outrage because Eminem supposedly had condoned the beating of Rihanna at the hands of Chris Brown. So we fired up the track, we listened to it, and we determined that was some serious clickbait shit. But what we were reminded of, word to our brother Lord Jamar, not that we condone half the shit that comes out of his mouth, but M is so fucking corny. So this was a leak. This was a song that obviously never made it on anything. But it wasn't that it was different from anything that we were used to not hearing from him during that time period. So I'm not sure why this was a leak. Maybe because he was talking about a whole bunch of people in the industry, which he's done before. So I'm going to throw to you, Simon, and being your top 10 rapper. What's your thoughts on this, man, when you hear this type of shit?
Motherfuckers are reaching, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not an M fan, and I don't condone any negativity towards them or whatnot. But,
Right.
you know, you can hear the rhyme patterns and shit like that. This was older material, so you know, they're just reaching and trying to get some clicks to whatever site they promoting the shit on. And I mean that's pretty much it.
I mean, now that you go back and you hear, or we go back and we hear the rhymes and is it? I mean, I guess it wouldn't have been shocking then. I mean, does it have any effect now when you hear him, talk about Rihanna had VD and I can't even remember. He said something about Jessica Simpson or some shit like that.
I mean, there's a reason I don't listen to Eminem now because of the Eminem then. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
damn.
I'll leave that shit alone, bro. I'm not into that weirdo shit.
You are who we
Yeah.
thought we
I don't-
was,
yeah.
right? What was it Dennis
Yeah.
Green said? They
Motherfuckers.
are who we thought they were.
Eminem was one of them kids that killed the fucking cats and shit in the abandoned field and shit like that. Left unattended and shit. The family dog was missing. And
Oh,
that was
fuck. Sparky, where you at? Pooh, what about you, man?
Weirdo.
I feel like it's a reach.
Iceland.
Because when you listen to it, it's like, oh, okay, the headline seems way more than what it was. What you just said was when you brought up a point, and it made me think when you said why wasn't it released back then? So real quick, it flashed into my head like Eminem has talked shit about the industry his entire career,
Right.
and he's gotten away with it. But what he hasn't done, he hasn't talked about no niggas. I kind of feel like, let's say back then when it was the big thing with Rihanna, if that comes out back then, he has to go against the feminines, number one, and then you turn the culture who accepted you in against you, and you can't afford to have us, quote unquote, turn on you. Like, he could lose the white folks because you gonna have the rebellious white folks who gonna fuck with him anyway, and then the black folks didn't give a fuck about him talking about Britney Spears. But if you fuck with Beyonce, Rihanna, you may lose the black community.
And you know what? Normally I'm a good connector of the dots, but I think you're 100% right now that you tell me that, because what are the two most shocking audio clips that
Talking about black women.
talking about black women?
Yeah.
So obviously this song is after he said,
What he
black
said back
girls
then.
and this and this
Yeah.
and that or whatever when he was a youngster. So if this then makes an album and comes out, now you in your rhymes are playfully talking about beating and abusing a woman of color.
Yeah.
And you put those two things together, that is probably something he doesn't want to have to, his people didn't want him to even have to address and talk his way out of.
Exactly.
That's a good point, man. I never thought about that. But I mean, overall, it's corny M at his best, trying to say as much
I don't know why
shocking
motherfuckers
shit.
like that weird shit, man.
People like to giggle and laugh,
It's
and
like Entertainment Tonight, for the corny ass
He
comedians.
came
and
in the
shit.
door doing it, and he just kept doing it until motherfuckers stopped it.
and it's, what, the uneducated
Hey,
rapper.
you know what? He's Carrot Top of hip hop. That's who the
shit.
fuck he is.
But you
Eminem
know
is
what's
Carrot
funny?
Top of hip hop.
He fell off once he stopped doing it. How fucking crazy is that? Once he started talking about drug addiction and real shit,
Yeah.
nobody want to hear that shit no more.
Well, because here's the thing. The thing is that he came in doing a little funny shit or whatever, and to the uneducated rap fan ear, what are the things that people who don't really know rap like? They want to hear somebody kick a freestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or they want to see you guys battle or whatever it is,
Yeah.
right? And that's kind of what M does, says really witty and, funny shit, comedian shit. And that's what the untrained rap ear wants to listen to. They don't want to hear a black thought or a Pharoah Monch or someone who's just spitting bars. They can't grasp that. You know what I mean? They're not going to be able to listen at that speed. But if you are hella, slow with it or whatnot, or if you're fast enough and you're doing the shit that he does, ring-a-ding-a-ding-a-ding, you know what I mean? Like that little fucking limerick. That's the shit he does. You're doing that little limerick shit. They're fucking with that because, again, they're not able to process real bars. So when he goes back to trying to do that shit and talking about his own depression and shit, and it's not catchy and it's not ooh ha ha, he said this and that, people weren't fucking with that anymore. You know what I mean? And that's where he's been for a minute.
You know what's crazy? he has an ear for real hip hop because he took a chance on Slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
He took a chance on Griselda before
Right.
anybody else. So he knows what real shit is. I think he does that shit because that's what fucking sells.
Right. And there was these brothers who were in that scene at the time, and I saw this interview, and I forget who it was with, but they were saying, and there was video of Eminem basically asking this crowd when he's first trying to come up to boo him and taunt him because he was a white boy. And like there was a chant, something like "white boy, you can't rap" or something. He was asking them to say that so he could do the call and response with them. So it's looked like he's always played himself as the underdog and as the person that even though it appears he's always been accepted musically, like you said, no one's really come for him. None of the mainstream cats have really come for him, and I don't believe that's because they're scared of his pen. You know what I mean? But they just say, hey, man, you're a student of the game, which he is. You can never... And that's why it's hard to call Eminem a culture vulture, because if you talk to M, he's going to tell you, like, Redman's one of his favorite rappers. He listens to Pharoah. He knows hip-hop. So it's just one of those things where when you got it, naturally you got it. Yeah. And when you could be really good at something, but it could be real awkward still, and it might not look natural. And I think that's what M's thing. M is a really good rapper, but he just always looks like that weird kid who's like a really good rapper type of thing.
Yeah, look, like you said with that student shit, it makes a great sense. What made 8 Mile? The freestyles at the end, right?
Right.
The battles. Look at the fucking tracks he chose. You know what I mean?
Right.
You gotta be a hip hop motherfucker to know to pick them classic beats. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The average motherfucker wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You can't take that from him.
And salute to him on that forefront. But this shit was corny.
Corny as fuck.
And this is part of that. And we were talking about it pre-show. This is why I can never ever recognize him as being the greatest on the mic to ever do it. These type of rhymes, the cross-dressing and all that kind of stuff, when it comes to real God MCs, in my opinion, that's just that's something I can't fuck with at all. So before we get out of here, it's been some years since the name Lauryn Hill and new music have been put out. So there is a Queen and Slim is a movie that is going to be coming out pretty soon. It's about this couple goes out on the first date, has interaction with a police officer, and then some shit goes down. So this is not the title track, but it's called Guardians of the Gate, and it's L Boogie returning. I'll start with you, Pooh, on this one. And because I want to save Mr. R&B, for last. You know what I mean?
I might be the only motherfucker here who don't know the tracks on the Miseducation. So yeah, I'll go first.
So I'll go with you. So what do you think, man, after I don't know, 10, 15 years I think it is? She's back.
The beat, the production sounds dope. I like the sound of it, but shit. I don't I could use an analogy. She was once a great, and she's still sticking around. She may not be as talented as she was. Like, she's Frank Gore. That's what she sounds like to me. Like, you can, like, she can
And the reason I'm laughing is what nigga said, she's Frank Gore. Frank Gore's face literally popped up in my head. And that's the last nigga's head that you want popping up in your mind. I seen his Tops 98 card just pop in my head now. You a fool.
Frank Gore is in the top 4 all-time leading rushers in NFL history.
And you would never think.
Look, right. Which means he's a great. Yeah. He's gonna go down as a great.
Yeah, first ballot Hall of Fame.
He's still around. Look, he could still run a blast breakout.
He can still run a counter.
Hey, but can he do this RPO new shit that's going on? That's what Lauryn Hill remind me of. Like, you can hear a squeak of that old shit in there, but like, it's like it used to be soulful.
Right.
Now she got the the power. She's like Ashanti.
Oh, shit.
And not saying she sounds musically like Ashanti, but it sounds weak over like
Yeah.
Lauren used to be powerful.
Yeah.
I don't hear that. Maybe, you know, I don't know. Maybe we should get her voice box scraped. Get that decay off that shit.
Voice box rejuvenation.
I don't know, man. Like, and this is really like baseless because I don't know shit about it. But this is my opinion. She hasn't been the same since she left Wyclef's direction. In my opinion, I know he fucked her up mentally. She never returned from that.
Right.
But musically,
she got a whole album chronicling that. Yeah.
She's not the same without it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like shit. It's like Brian Finneran. When he been in the NFL, the one for the Falcons, he's nothing without the Falcons. He's Mad Dog Maxon. He's Tyronn Lue. He's fucking what's that green eye? Devin fucking whatever.
Oh, Devin George.
Devin George. He's the rest of these bullshit ass Derek Fisher ass Lakers. Without the Lakers, they're trash.
So before I move on to you, Simon, so are we then equating her career to just basically being a role player on the Fugees instead of a standalone star? Or?
She was a standalone star, but it just seemed like musically she was at her best when she had that vibe.
When she had the vibe.
Yeah, it's kind of like
let me ask you this. So would you say that Wyclef needed them as well, or do you think so even though Prods unfortunately didn't have any solo success, but Lauren and both Clef did. So would you say that they were still better as a unit than they were parts?
Honestly, Lauren took them as a group to the next level. But it's just the early London. I mean, I keep saying London. Lauren, that whole influence, that whole
Nipsey fans gonna come get you, man.
I ain't worried about no punk ass Nipsey fans. Them niggas is millennials. What I say about them? Fuck them. Anyway, no, Lauren's a great. It's just that track I heard right there. It just didn't sound as soulful as it could have been.
Right. All right, Sign. We're about to get the music education of a lifetime.
She run about a 4.8 now. She don't run that 4.4 no more.
He said 4.4.
No, I understand exactly what Pooh's saying, and I mean, what she's talking about is pretty deep. You know what I mean? As far as she talk about, the walls being up and shit like that, and people misunderstanding and not going through. And that's the brilliance of Lauren is. I mean, with the writing, I just think with the construction of it, the hook is not very melodic. It's it's repetitive. And then as far as with Pooh saying that her hitting the notes, what's going on is, and that's probably her engineer. She probably didn't stress the engineer, but there's no runs and shit on that throughout the song. So it's just her, it's her vocally carrying the song, and it's
it's all one tone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's not hitting high notes, low notes, and Lauren can hit it. You know what I mean? But that again, that's part of the engineer's job to kind of bring out and strengthen those vocals, and there's no stacks or anything into it. So I just think that she's been away from the game so long that you kind of forget the fundamentals. You know what I mean? Like just like when Jordan came back from baseball,
right?
That he tried to come back during the playoffs. That wasn't Jordan.
And they got put out. Right.
Got to get the rest off.
Yeah, got to get the rest off. Right. And the craziest part was you mentioned engineering. There's like, when I looked at the YouTube video, there's like 9 engineers credited on that track.
Hey, but it's Lauryn Hill, so they were probably intimidated, and she probably didn't want the shit.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% because I feel like Lauryn Hill's songs usually have really memorable choruses. If you go back, that's what made her really powerful, who she was. Everything is everything, that thing, you know what I mean? She had some very powerful Zion, very powerful, hooks or choruses, whatever you want to call them. This record, we don't have that. This record sounds as if this was something she was just kind of playing, and this was therapeutic almost, because she is talking about, anxiety and things that she's dealing with, and how, can I just be me? This is what the outside world's expecting of me. And it really just kind of sounds more of her bearing her soul than her actually putting a record together. It's a deep track. It's a very deep record. And it's almost too deep for me to want to listen to, because it almost sounds like a cry for help rather than a song. You know what I mean? Because I'm just not going to hear myself sitting around saying, don't you wish you were in love or whatever she was saying. I just don't, and hey, salute to her. Maybe this is more music coming, and maybe we can see Because there's some dope artists out here now that she can definitely collaborate with. If she does come back, we better get a fucking Ghostface record. Or at least a Common record. If I don't get a Common L Boogie or a Ghostface L Boogie record for this new shit, if I don't get that, I'm gonna be heated. I'll settle for a Black Thought in L Boogie. L Boogie singing though.
Since you said that, who's the Common Ghostface of this generation? Like who can emulate that, so to speak, and get the same vibe?
Well, I don't think for this generation, and that's no disrespect to these youngsters, I just don't think there's anybody with that longevity, because we're talking about Ghostface, we're talking about Common, who have stellar discographies.
Yeah.
These aren't the guys that are going to sell 20 million records and all this other bullshit that people really prop up. But when you're talking about albums that you can listen to with content, with quality, with songs that rang in one, at one point in time, songs that are notable songs, it's very hard to find two more artists than Ghost and Common that have that type of discography. So I don't know, Pooh. I can't tell you anybody who, at this point, that's not named Drake or Kendrick or J. Cole that has a resume that can stand 10 years.
Yeah.
And I think that's why when we have these conversations of who's better and this and that, what era was best, I've named 3. And I'm sure there's people out there that could probably name another 4. Or maybe another 2 are missing. You might be able to get to 5 with these new era cats. But you go back to our era, and we can maybe name 10, 15 people who legitimately were able to go ahead and do that. You know what I mean? And, we're talking about people whose careers have spanned 20 years. Yeah. We're clowning E40 with the Niner Gang song or whatever, but how long has 40 been in the game?
Fucking 86 or some shit like that.
You know what I mean? How long has Short been in the game? Yeah. So that's what these youngsters are going to have to do. They're going to have to stand the test of time. These cats right now are selling out stadiums and making big cash or whatever, and that's fine for the pocketbook. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to your longevity in the game. It's going to be really interesting to see in the next 10 years which of these cats are still relevant, putting out records, putting out albums that you can have conversations for multiple classics. And the fact that I can only say 3 right now,
that's rough.
Real rough in my opinion. So, fellas, anything before we get out of here?
No, I think we pretty much covered it.
Yeah, I think we summed it up. There's a lot of little bullshit. Yeah. Kodak Black's just got, what was it?
30? Oh, no.
3.5?
He just got 3.5. Now he's looking at another 30 years. That's a fucked up situation.
What's the 30 for? I didn't see that.
Gun charges. So they got him for 2 different weapons charges or whatever. So now he's looking at possibly 30 years. And they talk about the judge probably going to make an example of him. The judge who gave him the 3 said you've been making mistakes since you were 15 and shit like that. So it's just a fucked up situation. And, it looks like he's going to be gone. And, another young kid who had it all. Hopefully the money he did make will change his family's lives, and maybe they'll be able to do better because of that. But it's just an unfortunate fucking situation, man.
Yeah, that's cold right there. It's just funny though. All this shit happened to him after he said something about Lauren London. It's crazy.
And how you look at that, it's it's definitely crazy. You know what I mean? And not to say that that's the reason. Because he was doing fuck shit before that. But it just goes to show these youngsters, the energy you put out, the more fuck shit you do, at some point in time, it's gonna come back to you twofold. Shit. I feel like we're missing something, man. Hopefully, what's my man who got shot in the neck in Chicago?
I think he's out the hospital.
Is
Lil Reese out the hospital? I heard he was in grave condition or something like that.
He out the hospital.
Rest in peace to the people that lost their lives up in Santa Clarita, California, with that high school shootout shit. Or kid walked in on his birthday and just shot. Some cold shit, man. Love your babies and love your family, because you just never know when your when your days are up, man. And I know we're forgetting Badass passed away. Rest in peace to Badass and to his family. Hopefully they get to the bottom of what took place in that prison cell. or that holding. I know we're missing something, so we apologize. We're normally not that type of podcast. We come here to drop gems and just talk some shit, but a lot of shit has went down this past week, and it just felt like, some positive shit. You want to go ahead and put it in the air to end, blessings to everybody. Simon, before we get out of here, anything you want to say?
And I'm 2-0. And I'm a Raider, an Oakland Raider.
So the way that'll work out is, so you guys are both picking. So you'll be basically 4-0 at the end of this Sunday, and then you'll be 2-2.
Nah.
We didn't bet on the Raider game.
Oh, okay.
We only bet on my team.
Oh, so we only do the Niners. Okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, Simon, are you confident enough to now going forward bet on the Raider games as well?
Nah, I ain't complicating shit.
But he did say the Raiders was going to go like fucking 5-2 at the end, and we was going to go like 2-6.
Yeah. So we'll see on that, man.
With the one down, you got 5 more to go.
Yeah. Anything else?
Still might come out on top.
Anything else before we get out of here? Anybody want to shout out?
All the baby mamas. Where's the Pasole and Albondigas?
Hey man, it's getting cold in Cali, man.
Yeah, you
It's
better
getting cold
believe
in
it.
Cali, man.
You guys bundled up and shit over here.
Yeah, man. And before we get out of here, man, big ups to Sergio and my boy Dro over at the Hair Project in Diamond Bar. Big ups on the cuts and the conversation. I know y'all checking us out right now, so I appreciate that right now. So you know where to find us. Like I said, you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Spotify, or you can just Google us, An Honest Conversation About Hip Hop. Check us out. Download, subscribe, and support. Follow, do all that other good stuff. Until then, it's been your boy D. Moraney, and we'll see you next time. Peace.